Hi everyone, here's my Rogue Sculpts Craft Off Round 1 water feature submission. I decided to go with a pirate theme. I was very inspired by Peter Pan. So I made a waterfall going through kind of a skull mountain down into a pirate's cove. This was very exciting for me because I used a lot of new techniques I'd never touched before using this project. Most exciting was using UV resin, which I'm going to go into, and also using wood filler. And I was really pleased with both techniques. They came out great. So I decided to use up my scrap pieces of foam, so I began building up the mountain just like offcuts that I'd saved. Then I made a paper mache form out of some old cardboard for the skull, just something to give me a good shape, and then kind of bent it a little bit. And then I began bulking up everything with extra tin foil and hot glue and more scrap foam. I even used the horrible white stuff. I stuck 2 LED lights in the back and went ahead and added my water texture to the inside of the mouth before I closed it off. I used an Easter egg here and painted the inside to make these cool kind of emerald glowing eyes. And you can see here the skull's been assembled, covered in masking tape, and I added more crumbles. And then ultimately paper mache'd the whole thing so it looked like one piece. At this point, I began using the wood filler. It's just the Elmer's brand, and I kind of would stipple it with an old paintbrush to give it more of a sandy look. I was really pleased. It dried really fast too, and I also kind of began mapping out my waterfall and added a lot of texture to the mountain with hot glue. Here you can see I began flocking it. I went ahead and over the wood filler put sand and then black bombed it. I also added pencil shavings to the mountain to add grass. And here's the first layer of dry brushing. And then you can kind of get a little bit more of a close-up. That's kind of the first round before I added my washes. And here is the part I'm most excited about, UV resin. I bought this on Amazon. It's typically used in jewelry making, and it sets with no mixing. You don't have to do the 2 parts. All you do is either put it out in the sunshine or use this cool little UV flashlight to set the resin, and it sets relatively quickly. You can see here it is still wet. It's kind of like a little bit thicker than Elmer's glue. It's quite clear. And it stinks. I highly recommend using gloves and using a mask when you do this. And it was nighttime, so I couldn't go put it out in the sun, so I used my UV flashlight. I have put it out in the sun. I made my first initial test out there, and before it could even leave the bottle, it was beginning to set. So the outside was hard and the inside was still not set. And in 20 minutes, I had a perfectly clear drop of resin. So I did have to work with this inside. Which is good and bad. I mean, it's great because it's very no fuss. It's not that messy. It's really easy to do, and it will cure. You don't have that worry of it not curing, but it smells really bad, and you can't work outside to mitigate the fumes because it will set. So as you can see, I just kind of ran my flashlight over it, and it did set. I went ahead and put some clear acetate coming down the mountain, and then I also covered that with the clear resin and was able to set it before it actually was able to slide off of the acetate. So I was able to use it as a glue and also set it here on the piece itself and get these wonderful thin, super clear spots. It does have some bubbles, but I really wasn't bothered by that. Overall, I liked the appearance and the clearness. The only downside I'd say would be smell, and it's really pricey. A small bottle, I think, was $10, plus you have to buy the little flashlight. Here I began covering it with Liquitex Heavy Gloss Gel to create the kind of waves. And you can see the little tea lights glowing in his eyes. I was really pleased with that effect, though it is more subtle than I'd like. And then I went ahead and went crazy with plants and put some DM Scotty trees on there. And that's it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.